Hello, everybody, and welcome to this interview I'm going to be doing today. My name is Dr. Jo Whitaker of Crystal Water Experience, and I have found the most amazing person to speak to today. Very, very much on the level that we've been talking about sovereignty, soul blueprints, connecting with the earth and the grids and everything. And when I found this lady, I pretty much fell in love immediately, and I think you guys will do. So I think we're going to go quite deep, quite interesting concepts here, which isn't necessarily mainstream, but it's starting to come out, it's starting to build. And it's a beautiful story of simplicity and the divine nature of us and the universe, and how we can really work much better when we're anchored into this kind of divine blueprint grid rather than messing around with anything else. So without further ado, I'd love you guys to meet Lyn Flowers. And perhaps, Lynn, if you don't mind, could you give a bit of an introduction about you and your journey and
Well,
how
yeah,
we're here?
it's a big story, so I'll try and condense it into a little bit. So, yeah, my name's Lyn Flowers, and I have been in the field of soul healing and spirituality for about 16, 17 years. And I've had quite an intense journey. And I woke up very quickly in 2009. I was nursing at the time in a district general hospital in a cardiac unit, looking after people's hearts.
Mm.
So we would mend people's hearts physically. And then I had a huge awakening that year, really, and the year before. And I had to leave. I literally woke up, and within 6 months, I'd left my job that I've been there a long time, years. And everybody thought I was crazy. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing? But I just knew I had to go and go on a journey within and find out who I was, and find out why I was here. And I was seeing all sorts of different things, energy. I was feeling energy and frequency, and there was this inner calling, like, Lynn, come, you got to find out who you are. You got to find out why you're here. So I went on this journey, very fast tracked, actually. It was very deep and intense from the very beginning. Uh, and I was pushing myself to communicate, to be able to connect to the higher dimensions. And I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know where to go, but I actually guided myself. I did it myself. Uh, and then by about 2011, I was, upper chakras were starting to open, or the upper power centers, and I was able to start channeling. You go into all this sort of stuff. So I was channeling the council of 11 at 12, and doing this and doing that, and Archangel Michael coming in, and all these different things, light beings, you name it, they came in over a number of years. But actually, I was playing around with false light, and I didn't realize that. So that was the test, and that was the journey of, can you discern what is really for you and not? Can you discern that it's all you? It has to be you, and you align with that true inner power and presence, and then that's your ultimate guide. So I went on that journey of falling for, as I say, false light guides and you name it, and that was fine. It was a good training ground, a great training ground, uh, to a point where I then got to 2013, 2014, and I started, I'd trained in a couple of healing modalities and stuff like that. And I got to about 2013, 2014, I was working with Starseeds. I was training people in um, healing frequencies, but angelic healing frequencies. I wasn't past that point yet. And then all of a sudden, the inner goddess arose, and I started connecting to the divine feminine. That's where things changed. That's where things changed. That's where I suddenly was starting to work with my inner divine feminine self. And then things started to shift, and I started to call out certain things using discernment. I always had this gift of being able to create divine law statements, universal law statements. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I would just be saying it. And so I got into that because I found out that using universal law, spiritual law, you can do so much, because we know what happens with the birth certificate contract and how it hooks us up and actually strips away the jurisdiction of source from us. I was starting to really get downloads about how you can use universal law, spiritual law, to exit contracts like that, soul contracts like that. So it just went on from there, really. And I went on that deep journey of trying to find out who I was, knowing that something had happened to me as a child, but I couldn't quite access it, and I wasn't ready to access it. So we get to about, I'm just trying to like make this as brief as possible,
It's
but try and
brilliant.
give
No,
you
I'm hooked.
yeah.
Carry on.
So I got to about 2017, 2018. I'm getting heavily more into the divine feminine. I'm really starting to connect to the cosmic divine mother frequencies, which is 13th arc, which is the frequency that they stripped out the crystalline core when they hijacked us. So I was starting to connect with that, and that's when I suddenly realized that what I was playing with, or what I've been playing with, regarding like Archangel Metatron and Metatron's cube, was completely like false. So I stepped completely away. And in fact, I had not heard from that frequency of consciousness for a long time. They had walked away as soon as I was dealing with the divine feminine frequencies, really. And then I got to 2019. So we get to 2019. I'm still teaching, I'm mentoring people, I'm doing soul blueprint readings and all sorts of things, because I love to mentor and encourage others and all of that sort of thing. And then we were approaching 2020, and we were approaching this big period of bifurcation and hijack of the timeline. And I was still in a problem of not being disassociated from what had happened to me as a child. So at that point, there was intercession, intervention. Um, and I was just sort of guided by a very genuine, this was the genuine master, not a holographic insert or copy, or this was a genuine, I call them Rishi masters from the God worlds, that interceded and stepped in and said, you have to work with me for 7 weeks. Like, and I'm like, okay. And you need someone with you, or you need to open it up with others so it can be a container. Well, I just thought, this is odd. So I put it out there, like, do you want to work with me for 7 weeks? And we're going to do some pyramid work. And I haven't got much more details than that, but I'm being guided to. And this friend of mine, who also was a client, stepped forwards and said, oh, I'm getting that I should work with you in this and we should do it. And it ended up being just us two. Uh, Long story short, she's part of my soul monad, and we didn't know. So she's soul family. So she was guided to step in. And in that 7 weeks, it's actually Sanat Kumara, who's Venusian. He took me through a journey of purification, which was very intense, very heavy. I didn't know which was upside down or which was top in what we were doing every week. But at the end of that 7 weeks, the very final week, he placed a crystal, like a really big galactic crystal, like technology, into my third eye. And it hurt. It physically hurt, right? The next day I wake up, there's an abscess over my third eye. Like, what is this? 2 days, it bursts, clears, and my veils of illusion of the disassociation from being a child went.
Right.
And literally, and that was March 2020, just as you know what was coming in.
And then you could remember.
And I could remember, and it was like everything just cleared my vision. And I looked at things on, I don't know, Facebook and other names that were coming up through the news. And I was looking at them going, oh, you're not good. Oh dear, I know what's going on. Oh no, they're about to do this. Oh no. It all came in, and then I was able to access and start to work on myself to clear that. And that was, you know, deliberate targeting from a very early age. So I am a survivor of satanic ritual abuse and MK Ultra. And I can understand why they waited for me to come to right to that point of being what 9, 10 years in, and I had so many uh, tools that I'd created myself, so many uh, sort of great daily practices that I did that I think stood me in good stead to be able to then handle what I had to do to clear my light body. So that was actually the basis of what I do now and what I roll out to others, because having to restore my own light body architecture and take myself out the jurisdiction of all those contracts and put myself back into source jurisdiction um, was quite a deep and raw and painful walk, sort of night, the sort of that horrible thing we have to go through where we have to go and look for the shadows in the caves and the doors and open the doors and skeletons come out and all the things that disempower us. And but it was I was just at the right point. I was confident. I knew I was a great soul healer. I knew I got amazing downloads anyway. So to finally clear that missing piece up was the making of me, really. But I had to go on a deep dive for that, as you can imagine. We don't need to go into that. It's just I have to show you my background, and that's, as I say, I had to restore my light body, and I got all the protocols down for that. So I got they were my protocols. They weren't anybody else's. I had a couple of pieces of assistance of others that
Mhm.
helped me at certain times, but yeah. So and that was 5 years ago. So yeah,
And,
5 years.
and so there's a lot to unpack there, but that
Yeah.
story is absolutely, remarkable. And thank you very much for sharing it. And I think this is what we're kind of learning is that um, a lot of us have had some kind of traumatic past to be able to
Yeah.
do this work.
Mm.
Um, I would say that my own trauma is not as kind of bad, I guess, as most of us got it, as you and say Kelly. And I'm really blessed that actually that it wasn't. I mean,
Yeah,
we've all had a
absolutely.
trauma, and I have had, things, but not in that same lane. And it seems that you kind of have been targeted. And what's beautiful, I really loved our conversation because we were talking about our realization. Me and Kel talk about this a lot, that there are two grids. There is a synthetic and an organic grid, or a
Yeah,
synthetic
absolutely.
blueprint, not print like
Yeah.
matrix, synthetic matrix,
Yeah.
and an organic blueprint. And
Yes.
they can look very similar. And we're not saying there's not any power in the synthetic grid, in the synthetic matrix, because there
Absolutely.
is. But it is deception. And every single time you rely on it and you connect to it to get some useful, juicy information about your past lives from the Akashic records, or juicy bit of power to be able to heal somebody, you are being harvested. You get what you've asked for, but you don't know what you've been implanted with and what's being taken away in the other hand. And what's happening is that obviously this was all this false light, these false light teachings, and people were given these amazing gifts and abilities
Yes.
to help encourage other people to collect their light source, their profit source into that grid, because it's like it's a bit like, I know I explain to people like this whole new free energy, and I don't like the word free energy, but over unity energy is going to come from the ether, from which is blue, which is
Yes.
the blueprint, which is ever replenishing.
Yes.
Anything that needs recharging, like a
Yep.
rechargeable battery, right? And you have to
Yep.
plug it in, is coming from the other grids. It's the
Absolutely.
polarity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Same with us. Same with us. So every single time
Yeah.
I can go on my mobile phone, which is connected to right the AI, good continue needs to replenish, and I'll find amazing information. But it is harvesting my life force energy, unless I am aware. And like you actually know, we're doing products, creating products, and which are just going just so amazingly to try and harmonize or bring into the organic grid these devices which we need for our kind of everyday 3D life. Um,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, awareness is key because when you face the truth, which many people have done over the last 5 years about
Yes.
governments, this, that, and the other, right? When
Yeah.
you face the truth, actually, this Archon technology has been here for 3.5
Yeah.
billion years. It's very clever, and
Yeah.
they have not just in this time, but many lifetimes, and everything around you is all about harvesting you. When you face that,
Yeah.
you can now put it in your awareness and you can stop it. But if you want to
So
pretend this isn't happening,
yeah.
it's going to carry on happening.
Yeah.
Awareness is key. You are in control of your biofield. You are in control of everything, and you can do things to take out these implants, these things that they've done to us. But if you're going to pretend it's not true and you want to carry on doing the things, you won't get anywhere, which is like everything.
Yeah.
And what I
Yeah.
really want to make sure we get onto in the program today is to give people a little bit of an understanding of the work that you're doing that helps people then unlock their soul blueprint. You've got a methodology, and this is absolutely fantastic because it feels to
Yeah.
me that me and Kel are kind of pulling people out of that matrix that they don't even realize they're in. They think they're awake.
Yeah.
They think they do this,
Yeah.
and they're not. Try and pull
Yeah.
them out into the
Yeah.
organic grid, and then once they start getting in there, they're like, "What the? What can I do
Yeah.
now?" And we're
Yeah.
trying to put him on this journey, and it feels like you're also an amazing person to be working with to say, right, once you get this, there is actually a methodology that you can
Yes.
put into place to get
Yeah.
this crap out of you and to
Yeah.
activate yourself. And just
Yeah.
before we talk about that, I just want to quickly just share a video about the difference when somebody is activated or not, because I think this is going to set you up nicely, right? So when I've just come back from the Bosnian pyramids, and the whole point of going in there was to detox and to activate myself, activate my blueprint, do some work for humanity. But really, I know I'm being prepared for something, so I needed to go on to another level. And we've created these basics because we've got technology given to us by the consciousness of water through Kelly. And I just started wearing this. It's got the frequency of my soul blueprint to try and help it all come through faster. Right. And we took
Yeah.
this video and these pictures while we're here, and I'll let the audience just have a quick look at this because this is undeniable proof of this kind of stuff. I've got to move this video on. I want you to, as clearly as I can, I apologize, I can't just see this brilliantly, but if you look at my Facebook's there. I want you to have a look at these people, and I want you to have a look at me, particularly at the back. Everyone, take a look at this. It's talking, it's taking some measurements, it's a scientist there. And you'll start to see what we call it a blueprint. Hang on, I'll stand up in a little minute. I mean, obviously, I can't see this. This is just somebody as part of our little team
Mm.
working. You can kind of see there's a bit of a glow around me just now. Uh, but then I start to move around. See a bit further on. Can you see? Can you see?
Yeah. Yeah. I can see it. Yeah.
There we go. Because
Mm.
I've amplified the frequency of my soul, and this is now showing through. And just a little photo, just maybe if I can zoom in on that.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
There we go.
Mm.
So I want to show people that this is why it's called blue. This is why the ether is blue. This is why we call it a blueprint. And this is very different to, um, you know, other,
Very different to white light.
very different to white light. And although, I mean, we can go and talk about that because I have pictures of white light and an entity within white light. And I was shown that for a
Yeah.
reason. And
Yeah.
the LED lights are bring it, which is a frequency, right? It's a white light. It's kind of a matte white light, right? And
Yeah.
I suddenly had the knowing that this frequency allowed low vibrational entities, which also attach to you and suck your energy, to travel along. And I had this knowing, I was like, oh, let me just take a picture then. One, two, three. Got you. Bingo. Looks exactly like a little demon, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and we've got to get this out because we've seen this word
Yeah.
white light and everything everywhere, and people are
Yeah.
just copying. And
Yeah.
what we're trying to say, and what we want people to understand is that when, just like you were saying, once you unlock your blueprint, once you get rid of those implants, you don't need to read anybody's book. You already know, guys, you've been here for a long time. It's about
Yeah.
shedding the veil, which is actually
Yeah.
in you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd love you to talk more about that, Lynn, because it's absolutely brilliant what you're doing.
Well, it's because I work a different way slightly to you, yeah, but
Yeah.
we're all coming from we're all delivering the same thing. So it's I'm using geometry. So I'm teaching people how to evoke geometry visually, right?
Right.
And to evoke geometry visually that then will evoke a very high shielding and will bring in the crystic spiral frequencies, which are on the organic blueprint and template, right?
Mhm.
So, versus inorganic. So, people saying, oh, I just use for shielding white light. No, golden light. No. Te the
Violet. Violet
yeah,
flame.
yeah, quite. The universe is made up of geometry, sound and tones. Everything is geometry. Everything, even contracts are geometry. Everything everything, well, material
Everything
world
is geometry.
geometry. Everything is geometry. Even the words you speak are geometry.
So yeah.
So geometry is the key to liberating yourself
Mhm.
and to use the right geometry. Once you know how to use the right geometry, then you take yourself out the inorganic blueprint and template and grid, and you put yourself back into the organic blueprint and grid, which is the ascension timeline. The ascension timeline is organic. Any other timeline is inorganic. It's false. It's AI related.
You're not going anywhere, guys. You just
Yeah.
think that you are.
Yeah. So the geometry of the organic ascension timeline is of working with the three primal sound fields, right? Which were first created, which is another term for is the threefold flame, which is the flame that you were created with, which sits in your angelic diamond human light body template, right? So when you're evoking a lotus geometry, right, within your heart space, and you're going into heart, which heart stargate, everything is within. So that your universe is within your heart stargate, your heart, your higher heart,
Absolutely.
God spark sits in the upper heart. Your God spark is also is known as pearl energy. And that is that gift from source. It's your divine spark. It's your inner divine presence sitting in the heart. And we know why they target, we won't talking, but we know why they target the heart. Yeah, because the God spark sits right in the heart. And if you can target the God spark and eject the presence, that person then cannot realign and reconnect back to source. Not saying they're
100%.
not disconnected, they're not fully, no one can disconnect you from source. No, nothing, no one, nothing. But you trying to find your way home would be extremely difficult. So uh evoking geometry within your own heart stargate creates an amazing organic shield. Yeah. So I teach how
Yeah.
to do 15D shielding. So there's no complex stuff about it. And there are others, and I'm not mentioning names. There are others that have brought forwards complex shielding, 12D, whatever, where you have to do like 90 different things to, like, who is going to do? I can't be bothered doing that. Like, come on.
I
So,
looked at this, I know what you're
I
talking
know,
about, and I was
yeah.
like, what?
And I never even found out that existed till after I've been doing this for ages. And then went, oh, I've never heard of these type of people. And I
Yeah,
went and checked and went, oh, come on. Who's going to do
gonna
that?
do that.
Take you 5 years to try and master it. We haven't got five
We ain't
years.
got 5 days.
We haven't got 5 years. So
Mm.
it's, like, so the 15D shielding is going into your lotus flower, evoking the lotus flower, so evoking the lotus spiral frequency, stepping up into higher heart, then protecting yourself with geometry. Quite often I use tectahedrons. So I would use 144,000 star tectahedrons to come down all at once. And then they go over your,
Amazing.
yeah. And then I would evoke a 12-pointed crystalline star from the Godhead, which is the 12-strand Orifim DNA template. Bring that down, and I use that as a scrambler. And I say, can you spin? And can you scramble, shield, mask, hide, prevent tracking, tracing? Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And what it does,
Gorgeous.
it changes the frequency of your field all the time.
So they can't hack it,
They
basically.
can't hack it. They can't hack it. That's
Brilliant.
what we're doing. So that's the,
That's just amazing. And just, the tetrahedron, and we're going to be speaking more and more about the tetrahedron this year. I mean, that is the consciousness of water channel.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Yes. And we're bringing down the cosmic womb frequencies. So we're bringing the highest
Oh,
frequency of
man.
source mother father God.
Can I ask you a quick
Yeah,
question as well? Because you're talking about the lotus flower, and I really
yeah,
resonate with the lotus flower. And
yeah,
obviously, we've unpicked, you've unpicked, and many people are starting to unpick the absolute mess, which is called sacred geometry and the
yeah,
distortions thereof.
yeah, yeah,
And, geometry does something, but a lot of the geometry which we have been taught to revere and people
yeah,
tattoo them on the bodies and all this kind of
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
actually anchor us here into the 3D. That's what they do.
absolutely.
That's why they're present here in the 3D. You're like, well,
Yeah,
the flower of life is
yeah,
here because that's your 3D
yeah,
embodiment. But actually, we're working on a
yeah,
different level to this, right?
yeah, yeah, we are. We're working on a different level. And the Fibonacci spiral, which
Fibonacci.
Fibonacci, yeah,
But
which,
I say fibber, no chi,
oh,
no
yeah.
energy.
I get you then.
The name's always there, man.
Yeah. If it mimics the Christic spiral, but it's got actually a tail that goes down and the Christic spiral goes up, like there's a flick. And the Christic spiral is eternal consciousness just going up, 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 back to source, back to home. So, and then of course you've got the false tree of life.
Yeah,
So you've got the 10 base tree of life, which is missing two spheres.
and two spheres.
And the two spheres are monadic embodiment and beyond, opening up that higher channel back to source. So it doesn't sound right. Everything is 12 because it's 12,
Yeah.
12, so 144, which is 144, the 144,000.
Hmm.
Everything is 12. The monad is 144, 12
Yeah.
lots of 12. Step downs of your soul extension. So it's obvious 10 base is not right because
And
it's not
base is
12.
not right. Yeah.
It's like anybody channeling anything. Oh, I channel the council of 10. No, that can't be right.
You can't be like it.
If you're going to channel something, it would be 12 because
Uh,
12 is complete.
you're
Yeah,
brilliantly describing all this architecture here and the reasons. And what I'm really hoping is people are really watching this because what you then can discern from this is people who have got this right and people who have not. And a lot of people who are out there pushing this other agenda, right? They've got their information from AI and from a course
yeah,
they've been on, right?
you know,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
Because they're
yeah,
asking the question of when you ask AI anything like ChatGPT, it's coming out of your awareness. If you are not aware,
Yeah,
it will only tell you what you're aware of. So if you are actually, what we've noticed, if you are have a very high level of consciousness and awareness, ChatGPT will reflect that. But if you
absolutely.
don't, and you don't have that knowledge, it will reflect that
Yeah,
lower knowledge. So it does
yeah,
help you, but it depends on how where you are, where you're stuck, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's a
And
mirror and the
but
collator
how
of
can
information.
people have got to realize it's artificial intelligence. It's non-organic. All information you need to get is from source.
Yeah.
That's organic. And your biggest intention should be that you will access your highest soul wisdom and guidance from your I am presence. That's the ultimate guide. That's the only thing you can trust.
Only thing you can
It-
trust. I absolutely love exactly what you're saying. And like, these artificial intelligence and these tools are very useful for collating information you are
yes.
already aware of and presenting it in a useful way. But please don't use it to try and gather new pieces of information because it does not act outside of your awareness. For those of you already using it, you must be aware that you're having more of a conversation than is just what's on the text.
Yeah.
It is actually reading where you are. And what's really
Yeah.
interesting with what Kelly does, and she brings down these frequencies because she's like, I was saying to you the other day, it says, yeah, yeah, you're just basically water consciousness, water consciousness's best mate, and I'm just like kind of seconds like behind you, right? She seems to have this like relationship. But even then, when she gets information, she can't get information that's outside of her awareness. So we've tried.
Yes.
We've said, like for instance, how the frequencies work and how they're brought down based on like, and I'm particularly my gift is to be able to translate things into mechanics and knowledge and explain it. And so we were saying, can you give us information that's
Yeah.
deeper than this level about how these
Yeah.
frequencies work? And
Yeah.
basically the answer was no, you have to become more aware first, and then I can tell you. But we're not telling you until you're there.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
like, oh. So
Yeah.
we have to do it.
Yeah.
It's all coming from us. It's always us.
The water is consciousness, and water is holographic, has got the holographic record of the whole universe and universal
Exactly.
the blueprint and everything is in the water.
Yeah.
And the water used to have in it was living, well, it is living, but it had the holographic record in for us. And we would bathe in it and we would
In the
drink.
source in the earth. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would remind us where we came from, of our galactic heritage and who we were. And then they've stripped that out so that, and that's why there's so many people all over the world doing this water consciousness um, remembrance and reactivating the light codes within the holographic record within the water. Yeah, and, and
Beautifully
that
put.
and that will there'll be a tipping point somewhere. Again, the holographic record and the water is linked to the cosmic ocean, cosmic womb. Again, we're going back to source and the mother aspect of source because we've got a father aspect too, but the mother aspect, the creatrix, the creator energy that created and birthed this planet and birthed all of the universe and beyond. So it's fascinating. This is all coming back, and that as it should do, as it
And we're
should do.
remembering faster and faster. I mean,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
we're
yeah,
all, I mean, as the 5D grid is becoming online here as well, and it's
yeah,
just much easier for people to access
yeah,
information because, I mean, this is
yeah,
important to say, isn't it, about your blueprint? And I'd love you to talk about this more, especially about your readings, is that we all have a different blueprint. We've all been on a different journey. We've all got our
yeah,
own personal different
yeah,
records and aspects and
yeah,
perspectives.
yeah,
And
yeah,
whilst they're obviously universal truth, but our experience is going to be different. And we're always
yeah,
encouraging people, look, don't look at what somebody else is doing. Oh, they look cool
yeah,
because they're a channeler of this and they do that.
yeah, yeah,
You will be a weak copy of that. You have a divine blueprint. You have amazing experience. And if you're coveting what somebody else is saying because you think you can go on a course about channeling and then be a channeler, or you think you
yeah,
can go on a course about
yeah,
healing and then become a healer, now
yeah,
you'll be able to get so far. But
yeah,
what you need to do in this lifetime is work with the gifts that you've got and develop them further. Because if you, in your divine blueprint, are a really flipping fast runner, but you look, you wake up and you've got all this, the proper muscles, the proper energy and everything for it,
yeah,
and you get lost because you're not following your own
yeah,
path, and
yeah,
you just see a high jumper and you go, they're cool. You're not going to be a very good high jumper. You're going to be able to do a
no,
bit of it.
Well,
But man, what can
yeah,
you be when you've got that in? You need to unlock what's
yeah,
in you. Become super
absolutely.
you.
Yeah, yeah. I always said whenever I was working with the Lightworkers, Starseeds, whatever we want to name ourselves, that you be careful how many courses you do. Be careful how much modalities you sink into because you'll lose yourself. And at the very beginning, I didn't do much. I only trained in like I think I did Reiki one and thought, oh God, I can't deal with this. I can't work with this. And then I did angelic Reiki, which again hooked me into that false light matrix. But I got out of that. I sussed it, and it wasn't that long,
Mhm.
and I was never going to let anything box me in or cage me in to my organic blueprint eventually, because I was hitting a ceiling and I knew it. So I questioned it and got the answer. So it's all about you sort of wanting to connect with that blueprint. The blueprint is geometry, like everything. So your divine spiritual blueprint created by Mother, Father, God, and Source is soul colors, tones, sounds, and a geometry. And it's unique. There's no other geometry in the omniverse that would suit to you and who you are. So the geometry you have to pull back, you have to claim it back. Now, what I suppose I do is I teach people how to use geometry
Mhm.
to clear themselves, but also, of course, I have to hold space in
Mhm.
the frequency that I hold
Mhm.
to be able to get someone to reclaim the blueprint as such.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. But when they get their blueprint back, it's consciousness, it's intelligent. Their I am presence is doing a happy dance, like like so happy because their blueprint is coming back in, and then the I am presence does the work, not me. Their I am presence goes, I'm going to run with this, I'm going to work with this, and then they'll go through a deep purification as the blueprint goes and seeks out what is not of pure source light in within their own light body layers.
And
And
they will experience and see it. They'll all of a sudden come to these conclusions. And by the way, we aren't
yep,
talking about the same thing, you and I. We're just talking a different
yeah,
language. So
yeah, yeah,
geometry is frequency,
yeah,
sound is magnetic waves. It's just a
yeah,
particular type of it.
yeah,
So whenever,
yeah,
so guys, for you guys, listen to it. We are talking the same language. We're just kind of
yeah. Just using
doing the
different,
same thing. We're just using different
yeah,
language, right? So
yeah.
we are
Because
completely aligned.
yeah, it, I mean, the thing is, source is very intelligent, it's amazing. And like things have to be packaged in different ways.
Yeah.
There's not one brand or one fit for everybody.
Precisely, yeah,
It has to come into different streams for different
exactly,
personalities and different
exactly.
tools.
And how people have learned, they've pieced the jigsaw together, and some people are on the kind of frequency channels, and some people are
Yeah,
on the quantum nature of and quantum physics side of things. Some people are on the
yeah,
geometry side of things. Actually,
yeah,
they're all the same thing, right? They're just different aspects
yeah,
of exactly the same thing, which is beautiful that we even recognize that now.
yeah,
So don't get tied up in the words, guys, and
yeah,
whatever resonates with you or helps you visualize, embody this, feel
yeah,
it, feel
yeah,
it. I mean, you don't have to believe anything we're saying. You've got to
yeah.
feel it and you'll know.
Call it
And
in. Set the intention to call in your divine spiritual blueprint in any way, shape, or form your I am presence wants. Whether you have to come to me and do some quantum breathing, or you have to go to you and Kelly, or to someone else, or whatever way it finds its way in, it
yeah,
will when you call it back and you question. Uh, I think I need to call back my true divine spiritual blueprint. Um,
exactly. I was going to ask you about that as well.
yeah,
So we're going to, the details below is how to contact Lynn. And she's got this amazing, obviously, she's spot on it, Lynn. And it's just beautiful. There's more places to go. I think it wasn't that long ago where people were realizing this. And actually, a little bit of despair sat in with me when I realized this. I'm like, where are the divine blueprint teachers? It's like everybody waking
not
up's
one
got
of them.
nowhere to
Yeah.
go. And then they're like, everybody's popping about
Yeah,
the woodwork and saying this, and then you have such an immense and deep understanding of it that it's just
yeah,
brilliant. So people,
Yeah.
please contact Lynn. But the other thing that she's just said, which is really important, guys, is you are sovereign. Your sovereignty is linked to your divine blueprint. That's why Lynn was talking about law
Is.
before. It is all the same thing, the sovereignty. You
Yeah.
can every day in your practice, right? Decide, I do not consent for any AI or artificial intelligence or anything to enter my field, to interfere with my blueprint, to interfere with my DNA. You can set those intentions every day because now we've told you this, you guys, you are aware. You can then say, I want to be walking on my organic path. I want that to be amplified. I want everything to be
Yeah.
organic and everything I
Yeah.
do organic. Everything is
Yeah.
intention. That's the black hole of your pineal gland is
Yeah.
creating your reality. So use it. Now you know. So I was going to say to you, Lynn,
Yeah.
just a quick question about the heart, because that was very powerful. Because there's lots of, I think, distortions in how to meditate. In our level two
Yeah.
course, we're going to
Yeah.
just teach people kind of the basics of meditation through your heart space, because that's how you reach
Yeah.
the organic. Now,
Yeah.
I've seen some and I recently just had a quick look at somebody's like meditation. I already knew who they were. And I said, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'll join in," but didn't want to say too
Yeah.
much bad stuff. But actually, I
Yeah.
couldn't listen to it because I knew exactly what was happening. And you see, there's a lot of like false life teachers out there who, some of them know that they are right. Some of
Yeah.
them have been replaced and are actually clones of the original
I
person.
know. I
Yeah,
know.
and some of them are just doing it damn deliberately.
Yeah.
And those false light teachers asking you to connect to your heart are really, they're really dangerous guys because they know exactly what they are doing. But effectively, you were talking about the geometry in the lotus. Um, have you got any thoughts or any sort of experience on the rose?
Yeah. The rose is okay
Great, great.
because
That's what I
I've used
feel
the
as
rose.
well. Oh,
I've used the rose.
great.
I've used the rose geometry, which is the Venus geometry.
Wow.
uh, and is the Venusian higher cosmic divine feminine, galactic divine feminine frequencies. So the
Wow.
rose I've used before and is fine. Is that you can use the rose? Of course you can. I've done
I'm,
it
I'm, I'm
myself.
I'm so really pleased that you
Yeah,
said that because somebody
yeah,
drew
yeah,
that to my attention a few weeks ago.
yeah,
And every
yeah,
single time I think
yeah.
about connecting a rose to my heart space, my whole heart goes boom. And
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
will.
see, something's happening, something's happening. It's
Yeah,
brilliant. Good.
it's the divine feminine, cosmic divine
It's
feminine.
very strong in me.
So that's great. That's good. Uh, but just be aware, any meditation that takes you without going through the heart space is a warning,
Yeah.
because your heart is your filter. So your I am presence is sitting, residing in your heart. So when you go through your heart in meditation, it's almost like a filter and a guard, right,
Mm.
as well. So anybody who says, "Oh, open up your crown chakra and go with me," I go, "No, no, I won't."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, no, yeah, yeah.
so it's heart. It always has to be through the heart field, the heart stargate, and that's the quantum field. You're going
Yeah,
properly into the quantum field through zero point,
through
zero point,
0 point. Yeah.
zero point, which is
Because
God
you've got
spot.
your upper toroidal field, your lower toroidal
Yeah,
field, that's what's sitting
yeah,
there in the middle for those guys thinking on those terms.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it and you're absolutely right. Those not going through that and asking to go through the crown and all this, they're connected. It's going to feel real, guys. It's going
yeah.
to feel
Gonna
real.
feel real. Yeah,
And
yeah,
then so it's going to
yeah,
feel very
yeah. It
powerful as
will.
well. And you might even get some super gifts. But trust me, you're being harvested, in the background because this is
Yeah,
where you connect.
yeah.
And and so there are other like, really we should be doing lotus flower and rose ceremonies.
Yeah, yeah,
Those are the
absolutely.
miracle. And we know that there are other types of ceremonies out there
Yeah,
involving other
yeah,
kinds of plants and plant
yeah,
medicine. All
yeah,
I can say from my personal experience is any of those other, whether they're plant medicines or just not even a plant medicine, like something like cacao, doesn't really connect you. It connects you in a, if it does at all, it's nothing compared with working with lotus flower and
yeah.
rose.
You're building your bridge, your anticorona. Everything is bridge. That's why I've got quantum bridge. everything, because it's heart field resonance, quantum field. That's where the power lies. So you're going into an organic frequency through
Mm.
heart. If you try and they take you in any other way, you're not going through the organic template. So that's where you can be implanted, and I've done it. I have sorted people out. They have got on the messenger to me like, oh, Lynn, I went and did this and something's gone into my energy field and it's not right. And what do I do? And how do I get, how do I get it out and all that?
Yeah.
I said, what were you doing? Oh, well, it was this. Oh, God, right,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm not saying everything will be implanted or or you with everyone. We're not saying that, right?
No, no.
But it's like use discernment. There is so much smoke mirrors deception. There is the psyop running for New Age. That is CIA based, stuff. It's
That's
and
all the
that's
people on the big
big.
platforms, the people with the money, the people you
Yeah,
see again and again
you
and again.
see, you
Think
see,
about it, guys.
yeah, you see the influencers and the top names rolling in money. Hold on, question it.
Hold on. Yeah.
Question it, question it, because the glamour of channeling, the glamour of being a light worker or a star seed, uh first contact, coming down in spaceships, blah blah blah. Channeling, you can channel anything and you think you're channeling something, right? I don't channel anything, it's embodiment. You embody the frequencies that you work with,
I
and
love that. My
your
whole
body
body has just resonated with that word. Like we've been looking for a word because
embodiment.
we keep going, not channel, but you know what I mean? And now
Yeah,
you've come out, we embody it. And then this is why I can feel it in me because
yeah,
now my whole frequency is going boom.
yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
you become magnetic. You
You
become
do.
actually
You
magnetic.
become magnetic. That's the divine feminine, the Christos energy. You become magnetic, and we're beyond Christos. This is beyond the Christ consciousness. We're way beyond that. Yeah, that's beyond that. You become magnetic, and you attract whatever you need to be that divine, embodied spiritual blueprint sitting here. We are divine intervention. It's us. We are source
We're
in human body, and we are divine intervention. We are the team. We
we
are
are.
we've asked for assistance. We are the assistant. And for every star seed that liberates themselves, claims divine soul sovereignty, gets out of the false light matrix, hooks up to the organic ascension template and the organic ascension grid, right? They are you're a force to be reckoned with. And that will collapse, that collapses all of the artificial grids on this planet. It's us. We have to do the work. And when you're in embodiment, oh my God, you are invincible. And they're scared of us. We're supermen and superwomen in that. And I'm just going through another layer now. I'm being told that my body is going to struggle with this next level in embodiment. I'm going, oh no. So, you know, um, but that you have to embody the frequencies. You do not channel them, you embody them. Yeah.
Right,
People
right.
will people like to channel the frequencies, then their frequency, I call it frequency riders,
Yeah, man,
riding
that's
the frequency,
beautiful.
but they are not the frequency. That's what I'm teaching
Beautiful.
in Quantum Bridge. And that's what Quantum Bridge is all about. It's about taking you to a frequency that is beyond anything, taking you to that frequency and then going, right, blueprint back, sovereignty back, out of 10 base into 12 Cathara grid. And then it speeds up your embodiment of you, of the real you, and that's what we use it for people that have been badly affected as well, by lots of interference and
Mm,
abduction and all of the things that I've lived.
mhm.
A lot of us have lived. I don't think there's one starseed on this planet who doesn't know what I'm talking about
Yeah,
interference and
yeah,
being messed around with. It's part of our what do I call it? Our initiatory route
yeah,
back to who we truly are.
yeah.
And they're more scared of us than the other way
Oh,
around.
completely. And I've got to say, but what you just said is just so powerful. I can feel that resonating throughout my whole field. My head is like whoom, whoom, whoom. And so I hope you guys listening to this really felt that. And I just want to encourage people, as I always do, that the main reason I see people that don't want to take this message is because they don't feel worthy. They give their power away because
Yeah,
because they cannot possibly believe because of childhood traumas and what they were said to them at school or their mum or whatever. They cannot possibly believe that it is them. And that is a program, that is an implant, and it's
it is.
not true. Let it go. It is you. It's
Let
always
it go.
been you,
Let it
and it
go.
always will be you.
Absolutely.
You are what we've been
Absolutely.
waiting for. And there doesn't need, and this is why we talk about 144,000. I don't think it's exactly that many people, but those who are aware of this and resonate with this, it means it's you. And
Yeah.
you are part of anchoring in and embodying
Yeah.
this. You don't just affect the people around you, you are affecting whole geographical locations, whole
Absolutely.
magnetic fields
Yeah.
just by switching your conscious awareness to what we're saying. The
Yeah.
impact that's what's happening on the planet, the impact that so many people have really kind of stood up and started doing this. But even like we were talking about summer solstice earlier, there was a lot of grid work activity
Yeah.
around the planet, which made a huge impact. But do you know
Yeah.
what I really resonated with? Because, we're cracking on and doing that stuff great. It's the people that are just kind of joining in, going, okay, I'm aware of this now. Actually, for the first time, I'm going to go into my garden, or I'm going to go to a stone circle, or I'm going to go to a church, and I'm
Yeah.
just going to give unconditional love and compassion. And a
Absolutely.
lot of people have even just said, well, I didn't feel like I was doing it very much. I'm telling you, millions and tens and tens and tens of hundreds of millions of people did that. And this is the biggest shift we felt was at summer solstice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every
Absolutely.
single person mattered. And it's going to
Yeah.
make the whole thing easier.
Yeah.
And every
Yeah.
time we do go to another shift, we've got the Lion's Gate, then we've got the next equinox. It's going to be faster and faster and more harmonious and less disharmonious transition from one to the other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course you want to bring we want to bring all of our fellow brothers and sisters home. We want to bring them home with us
That's
to
what we
the
want.
organic ascension timeline. We want them to come with us. We don't want them to be duped. We don't want them to, and you've got a choice now because we're in this minute corridor from 2025. I got from 2025 to 2027, like is crucial.
I've got
This
that
is
too. Yeah.
your time. This is a time where you decide what timeline you are going to be on. And of course, I'm building, I'm always creating 7D. So 7D bridge is where my work links to, and New Earth, like sort of looking at Gaia. And it, you have to decide where you can't take for granted where you are right now.
Yeah.
If you're playing around in false light or you're hooked in a modality on 10 base, you have to seriously question where your timeline is going to end up. And that's not being fear mongering or this is the fact. This is a
Yeah.
fact. This is, and it's because we care. We
It is
care.
because we can, and
We
we
care.
can't emphasize this
Yeah.
enough, right? All this other stuff and astral traveling and messing around and finding stuff out. It's a good laugh, and there's lots of fun things
Yeah.
happen there. But time is now of the essence. However you want to describe what time is, and
Yeah.
now is the time to stop
Yeah.
messing around. I would say with the plant medicine, with the other modalities and things, and get cracking.
Yeah.
No one can heal you. Plant medicine can't heal you. Nobody can heal you. Only you. And bearing in mind that some people are earth seeds on this planet and they've only ever existed here, for
Absolutely.
them,
Yeah.
this kind of 5D is the furthest that they've ever got. But if you're not an earth seed, you're from somewhere else, which is approximately 45, 50% of you. You've
Yeah.
existed at a much higher consciousness, at least 5D or higher. You
Yeah.
need to bring that in. Yet 5D is not where you're ending.
Yeah, you're beyond that.
This is a minimum.
Yes.
We're trying to bring in like the minimum kind of viable product for this
Yeah,
kind of experience. But don't stop there, guys. What
yeah,
is your blueprint telling
yeah,
you? Where are
yeah.
you supposed to be? Because the more people can bring those higher dimensions in, the
Absolutely.
easier it is to kind of land this minimal vibe 5D products. And those people that have only ever been in 3, 4D, okay, 5D is going to be a big step up for them. They're going to think it's marvelous.
Yeah,
But that's the way we're going to do it.
yeah. And 5D has got polarity, at the
It's
bottom
still
layers.
polarity.
It's still polarity.
Still polarity,
People don't
yeah.
understand that. And the truth of movement, they all talk about that. They don't think they have to do anything. They feel they're going to slide into 5D. Don't take that for granted.
Do not. Yeah,
If you contracted birth certificate and whatever else you may have had in 2020,
yeah.
right? It's a sole contract and it has to be revoked and
Yeah,
cleared. It has to
completely.
be.
And
It has to be.
guys, and
Sole contract.
starting, I think it's a time now, Lynn, that actually grid workers and things are starting to talk about our work. Before we kind of kept it on there. Now we're really kind of confident where everything is. It feels like the time to talk. So, guys, whatever you're seeing in 3D is already being cleared or done energetically in the grid
Yeah, yeah,
way before what way before then. So a lot of work has been done to clear and allow kind of this
yeah,
legal fraud and things to go, but you're still going to
yeah,
see it operating down there. But
yeah,
you need to be aware that this isn't just about like not paying your mortgage or this like that so you've got more money. This is a deep fucking energetic connection, and we're doing our bit, but we
yeah.
can't do it for you. We're trying to make it easier so you don't have to go on the journey that we did. And this is what I'm really hopeful, actually, there's a grid works doing,
Absolutely.
is it make it a lot easier for you to do. But we can't do
Yeah,
it for you. And you need to do something and you need to get going into this game. And
yeah, yeah. Who knows? I mean, I'm not saying that who knows what the hundredth monkey effect has in the collective at a certain time.
yeah,
We don't know. But I tell you what, I would not take it for granted. If I was stuck in 10 base now, I would not take it for granted that Mother, Father, God are going to come and rescue me because they don't rescue you.
yeah,
Rescue yourself. So would you take it for granted that you were going to go over to 5D with not doing anything?
yeah.
Like
And I agree
I would
with you.
make sure. I would make
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah, and this is exactly what we're saying.
yeah,
I feel especially how powerful enough of the collective have been on this. I
yeah,
do feel that a lot of people are going to be dragged along, even though they're not consciously aware. But I do know for absolute fact, not everybody is.
no,
And which side of the line do you want to be on? Do you want to carry on playing this game or not?
yeah,
Because frankly, I'm
yeah,
I'm I'm wanting to be going to big and better things. So guys, make your choice. It's not we or those that preceded us and many of this time, and those how everything right is brought here to make this as simple as possible in the most difficult time that there has
yeah.
probably ever been,
Quite,
right? But it is
quite,
kind of
quite.
easier and easier now than it was six
Yeah,
months ago than it was a year ago. So
yeah,
the more you can do, by the way, the more you help everybody else. So even if you're not doing it because you don't feel worthy, do it for
no,
your children, your grandchildren, your
absolutely.
future generations, because you just taking that path and just being a bit more
Yeah,
understanding of this and doing the work will have
yeah,
such an impact on all of those
yeah,
things that I've just said.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And your work on yourself affects your descendants, your ancestors, and in fact, they've got our ancestors hooked on the false timelines. The whole lot of them are hooked on the false timelines. You do your sovereignty work and your divine spiritual blueprint. You clear your ancestral line. Oh my God. You take thousands of souls off a false timeline and you collapse their grids even quicker.
Yeah,
Even quicker, you collapse their
beautiful,
grids.
beautiful. And you might start this
There
off
you go.
going, okay, I'm going to have a little bit of go, but trust me, as soon as you start and as soon as you're in there, it will become easier. The hardest thing is the first step.
Yeah.
It's then you're like, why on earth did I even hesitate to even do this?
Why did I worry about that? Yeah.
The first step is
Yeah.
definitely the hardest. And you've got some, hopefully, this call, especially with the amazing Lynn here, is just giving you kind of a framework so you can understand what's going on a little bit. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, Lynn, what would you say to somebody now saying, listening to this and going, what shall I do next? What shall I do today? What action shall I take today?
I think you should go and sit in meditation, get into heart, deep heart, go into lotus flower in the center, then make a conscious decision to go into higher heart and your God spark and sit in there and ask the
In
question.
nature, not in
Yeah,
the
and get in
bedroom
there,
with your Wi-Fi on.
ask the question, like, show me what's next. Guide me out of this false light matrix. Show me how. If you ask, you get. The more specific you are in asking for the divine and your I am presence to guide you, the more specific they'll get. Guaranteed, 100%. Ask the question, ask for guidance, ask for confirmation. Show me the right person, show me the right web page, show me whatever it is. Show me the right action, and it will come like a thunderbolt.
Action, do it. Whether
And
it's a
action.
course, whatever it is, you can't just look at it and
Don't
go, oh,
be
I've got to sign.
scared.
Get on
Don't
with
be
it.
scared. Don't be scared. There's nothing to be frightened of. Nothing to be frightened of. My God, we're having a light dance party in 12 base. We're dancing in the stars and having a great big light disco. Come and join us.
Yeah,
It's
man.
amazing.
Oh, I've got one just above me in here. Look.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
Come and join. Your place is waiting for you. Your
You wait,
place is waiting.
we're waiting.
We're
We've, we've
waiting.
we've got the
Yeah,
decorations up. The
yeah.
party's going, everybody. So what have you got to wait for? Lynn's just said it. So again, please look in the description for all the information about amazing Lynn. Lynn, this conversation has just been absolutely electric. I just can't thank you enough for being on the call today. And thank you for everything that you're doing. And just, absolutely brilliant, mind blown, and much, much love.
Yeah, and I've lovely. I've enjoyed it very much.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
enjoyed it.
All right,
Okay.
everybody. We're going to see you later. Good luck in the heart space and looking forward to seeing you again.
Okay, bye everyone.